we live in a house with a well system to bring water in. And of course, we had the well inspected when we moved in, but it never hurts to have a system that is going to purify the water to make sure that what we're drinking is 100% pure. This is a reverse osmosis system with replaceable filters that are inside here. This is a space-saving system the way it's set up because it can sit underneath the kitchen counter in the cabinet, and you can put it in there in the side or in the back or however you want to. It's only about as wide as your hand, and this is going to be able to help keep out the harmful PFAS, the microplastics. It'll keep the TDS parts per million of any sedatives, any like heavy, like the metals, the filter out bacteria and make your water pure. Comes with a quick installation guide, a parts list, has all the parts you need, the connectors for all the hoses here, the water line with a valve for a shutoff, the faucet itself, which you can install right into the back of the sink, and places to also to drain the water out, because as you run water through the system, it does take water to filter through, and then it will dispose of the excess water system or back into the system through the drain pipe. So there will be some tools needed. So we're going to get started. I'm going to empty out the cabinet, and we'll kind of show you some step-by-step along the way. First thing I did is I drilled a hole in the wall in the back, because that goes into a utility closet where there's an outlet. Sometimes sinks will have an outlet, especially if you're next to a dishwasher. Sometimes the outlet's behind the dishwasher. For me, it was easier to just access the wall outlet on the other side of this wall by drilling a hole for the power cord. Next, I'm going to take the water line off and install the adapter to provide water to the faucet itself, which looks like this. This faucet is going to plug in right here. I currently have a dish soap dispenser there, so I'm going to take that out and put this in its place. All right, now the water adapter has been put into the water line and will need to be connected. And this is the water line going up to the faucet that is now installed. And the next step now is to get the unit down in place and get all these water lines plugged in, and then give it some power. Okay, so now the water line is hooked up and running to the first port. This port is running up to the faucet. I drilled a hole into the drain line, followed the instructions to install the wastewater drain here, plugged in the power, ran it for about a minute just to make sure there's no leaks, and there aren't any. So now I'm going to use the provided zip ties to kind of clean up the water hoses and get some out of the way. I'm going to put this on, and then we're going to do a test of the actual water. All right, here's the whole system all installed, all the water lines out of the way and ready to use. Now we're going to do a quick water test. So I'm going to show you. Take some tap water from the faucet, and I'm going to run a water tester. I'm going to turn this on. Okay, that is reading at 239 ppm, and this is a TDS and EC water meter. Okay, 240 parts per million. All right, now let's take water from the RO water filtration system that is just newly installed. Let it run for a second. And you do have to let this run for a full minute, which I already did to test it. Okay. Now, the same TDS test, and we're at 11 parts per million. That is significant. 10 parts per million. Now that is some pure water.